Today we're going to look at mechanical splicing, and then next week before we do our test. So we have a test 3 is scheduled for Tuesday, and then the final exam is next Thursday. So the mechanical splices, and this is pretty much what we need to do this. We need a stripping tool. We need Kevlar scissors, and of course we're going to be using our cleave, small cleave, and then we're going to be using our debris, something to keep up with our debris. Of course, we're using sandwich bags because we can just throw these away when we get through. And of course, we're going to need a ruler to make our measurements with. And of course, the ruler's got to have the metric scale on it, because most measurements on this is going to be given in the metric system. And then we have the cables that we're going to be splicing together. Now, what you're going to do is in the first lab, what you do is you terminate, you put 2 ST connectors. Now, the cable I'm going to be splicing together is a little different than the one you're going to be using. So these are SC connectors. You're putting on an ST connector, which is a round connector, and you're going to be terminating both ends of the cable. What I have here is what I'm going to be doing, not terminate. You're going to terminate both ends of the cable, and then you're going to measure it and see what type of loss you have. And then after that, what you'll do is you'll take that cable and you'll split it in 2, and then you're going to splice it together. The first splice that you'll be doing is going to be a mechanical splice, and the second splice that you'll be doing is going to be a fusion splice. So this is what you're going to be splicing. So you're going to be putting on 2 ST connectors, which are the bayonet connectors. And then you're going, I think it's a 3-foot section of cable that you're going to do. And then it's got a 900, it's got a 3mm loose tube, outside jacket. And then it's got the Kevlar. And then it's got a 600 micron tight buffer. And then there's the actual conductor. So this is the tight buffer. And then, of course, we'll have to strip this. So we strip off the orange with the first on our 3-hole stripper, a fiber optic stripper. We'll strip off the orange first with the biggest one. Just clip it and then twist it and slide it off. And then we'll twist the Kevlar and we'll cut it to a pre-described length. And then we'll strip off our outside buffer according to the requirements for the splice that we're going to be using. And of course, like we said, you'll mark this off. I'm going to do it on mine. And then what you'll do is you'll come in and want to take off small pieces. So The second one is so this is for taking out the outside loose tube. The one in the middle is for taking off the tight buffer, and then on the very smallest one is for taking off the clear coating or the buffer coating. So I'd mark this off, and then I'd make sure. And the biggest problem people have is not putting it in the little groove right here. And of course, if I get it right there, you close down on it, and it just cuts it off, right? You see that? And that's the biggest problem we have, people cutting it off. Then we'll take off little chunks at a time, about 1/4 inch. And then when we get it down to the length that we want, then we'll move into the very inside to take off the actual coating. And of course, what we do is we put it at an angle, and then we pull it through. And then it might take more than one pass. And then what we'll do is we'll take alcohol and we'll clean that off. And then we're going to cut this to specs according to the lab, and then we'll insert this into the actual splice. And they'll have 2 ends, right? You understand? I'm just using this to kind of demonstrate a little bit. This is a fiber lock, and this is a permanent splice. So what that means is once this splice is in place, you'd have to cut it out. And you have a special tool that you put it in with. So the splice sits in here, and then it tells you here how far, you can't see it, but if you looked at it, it would tell you how far to cleave it to 12.5 millimeters for this, and this would tell you exactly what to do to put the fiber lock on there. The other splice that we have is a permanent splice we have is a Corning splice. This is called a cam splice. And then what you do is you take off a little cover. Then the 900 micron jacket will go into this. And it gives you, we'd have to look up this procedure, but it also gives you the exact lengths that you get. And then what you do is, unfortunately, we don't have the tool. But here in the center, what this does is this turns and locks everything into place. And this is a compression out here on the outside. I don't know if you can see it or not. But what you do is your 900 micron, 600 micron tight jacket is once you put it in there, you tighten that down, and then this would lock in on the compression. Now the one that we're going to use is called an Ultra splice. And here's an Ultra splice right here. This is the one y'all be putting. And what's really neat is this can be put on 2 different sizes. So I'm going to take one of them off because this is the one I'm going to be using, and that's what our instructions are on right there, is the Ultra splice. And don't cut this with the Kevlar scissors. So these scissors right here, they're not meant, the only thing these guys are meant to cut is Kevlar. So don't use these scissors for anything else. These are Kevlar scissors because they're extremely sharp and hard. And if you try to cut something, odds are you're going to nick it, and then it won't cut Kevlar anymore. It might get dull. So we have plenty of scissors around here. We have electrician scissors. So this is the Ultra splice. I have no idea what this is. This is the first time we bought this one. And of course, this tells us basically how to do it. It's for splicing. We can do it on the coating. So if I do it on the outside jacket or the tight buffer, then we take this little blue thing out. If we do it on the buffer coating, then we leave the little blue thing in there. So we can do this with different types of fiber. And it's a compression type thing. So you see this screws out. So what we'll do is we'll screw it out and insert the fiber in it. And then when we get it in there, then we'll tighten this down. What's nice about this is this has got a little viewing window on it, so you can actually look in there and see when the fiber touches each other. And the other tool that we'll be using, by the way, is we'll be using a light source. And we'll show you how to do this too. It's really neat to tell when the two pieces actually touch against each other. We'll be using that. So the fiber that I'm going to be splicing doesn't have the tight jacket on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the blue thing in here. When you do yours, you're going to take the blue thing out. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be clamping on to this 900 micron jacket right here. That makes sense? Okay. So the two fibers I've got is a little different. So when we look at our procedure on Blackboard, when we look at our procedure on Blackboard, we don't have this little cradle, but you don't really need it. But it says if I'm doing the 900 micron buffer, then we're supposed to move the two little blue things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the 900 micron buffer, and so we'll pull the two blue things out. The fiber that I'm using don't have that, so I'm doing some fiber because I don't have another cable built up. So what this has is this has a loose tube right here. This is the outside loose tube. And then this is the Kevlar, and then it does not have a tight buffer, so it goes directly to the fiber conductor. So what I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to pull those little blue things out. I'm sorry, I'm going to leave the blue things in, and you'll take the little blue things out when you actually do yours. So what it tells us, it says strip the buffer coating in preparation for the cleave. It don't tell us exactly how much to strip off, so we'll go into the lab here. Let me pop the lab up real quick. We'll look at the actual lab and see how much the lab specifies what we need to do. So mechanical splice, this is the one we're going to use. As soon as I get it to load. Okay. Problem is when I have my camera up, it don't tell me when I'm paused on my lectures. Okay. So we're going to come up here. We're going to strip off 8.5, which will be right here. Okay. About. So we don't try to do it all at once, right? You strip it off in lengths. I'll mark all that. No, this is the splice. I was telling Michael that Thomas is not going to be here today. He's stuck up in this. Oh, yes. What I need to do is I need to strip off the buffer coating to prepare for the cleave, right? Does it say how much I need to cleave it to? I'm going to cleave it to 10 millimeters. So I'm not gonna measure. Y'all gonna go by a lab that tells you how far to measure off, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and cleave off. I'm gonna go ahead and get enough to make sure I can get it into the cleave. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip off about this much right here. And you need to take wax at that too. Don't do it like I did. And then once I take off the clear coating, what we're going to do is we're going to use a lint-free wipe, and then we're going to put a little alcohol. Y'all come up here. So this would just be for Thomas. Y'all can come up here. Let me get the. So here's the actual instructions that we can look at. This is the lab. It was over there. I just looked at it. So what I've done, I've got alcohol here. And let me exit this and make sure I'm still recording. And we're going to place the fiber in here, right? Make a V. It's hard to do it under the camera. And then lay it in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull it till we hear it squeak. Hear it squeak. Okay. Then what it says we're going to do is how much do we need to cleave off? Okay. Oh, it's in there. I think it's 7.
Yeah, 7 million.
So we come up here, and I'm going to turn this sideways so we can see it. So we press on the back. We take this and slide it. There's a little groove right here. So we're going to slide this into the groove. And we're going to move it up until we get to the 7 millimeter mark. I can't see my buffer coating. That's what I'm looking for. So it's not 7 millimeters from my jacket. It's 7 millimeters from the buffer coating. There's 8, so that'll be 7 right there, right? Okay. And then we do is we take this, lay this down, bring it down until it touches. And then we grab this, and we bend it till it breaks. Okay. That will be our first one. Then we're going to do the second one. Same way. I'm going to do this a little faster. I'm not going to strip it off. I'm not going to go down to 8.5 inches because we don't really need that. Like I said, this is not the same one that y'all are putting on. Because this is a little different. So this has a loose jacket. I don't know how much this is. And then you have the Kevlar. then you have the conductor. So the one you're doing is going to have tight jacket, right? It's going to have a hair more. I think I got enough. I need to clean out my sleeve because the piece is still in there. By the way, the best way to do that is with a piece of tape. We'll get the masking tape over there. So see, the piece is still in there. Of course, that's very, very fine, right? So the best way to do this is just to get a little piece of masking tape. And then come over here and then put it down on it and then release it and then pull it up. And then you got it, right? And that's the debris you got to really watch. You got to really watch. So I think I'll probably need to take off a little more. Like I said, I'm not doing mine according to the specs. And I'll strip off enough to get it so I can get it into the sleeve. In the Kevlar, you need to keep control of that. That stuff gets on everything. Okay. Then we'll clip off enough, and then I'm going to strip off enough to get into the sleeve. And of course, you have the specs. What's critical is the 7mm, right? Because that's what's going to go into the splice. And we'll do this a little bit at a time. One more will be okay. Check. Now, of course, you could, I think the way the procedures work is written up, you can, not on my you could go ahead and put that into one end of the splice. That way it wouldn't be hanging around over there, right? And then we're going to come up here and we're going to fleet it to 7mm. From the coating. That's a lot more than that. That's okay. There's 8, there's 7, put it down, lay it in, push it down, let it touch, bend it, and it should break, right? Break. That's the first time that's ever happened.
I'd take mine sideways.
It's actually not right. I think because I don't have the, I think because I didn't strip off my jacket. clean it again. I think it's because this buffer inside there and it's not if I don't break it yet. I should have followed the instructions. What happened? I don't know what that is. It keeps clicking. Okay, let's try this again. It's tilted.
Put light on the end of the thing so you'd be able to see it.
Oh, I can see it. So we push down, right? Gotta get 7. Push down. And we come up here and we get it breaks. Right. Then what we do is, like I said, mine's going to be a little different because I don't have the tight buffer on mine. So what I'm going to do on mine is you'll take the blue things out. I'm bringing mine in. So what we'll do is we'll take it and I'm going to leave mine in and then you unscrew it. Don't screw it all the way off, right? Because it's compression. And then we'll take this, try to stick it in the hole. And once we get it in there, we'll do what? Tighten it down. I don't know if this is going to work as good as with the tight buffer on it. Do the same thing on this side.
The one in the hall.
Yeah, that's, damn. I might have to get my reading glasses. I think I got it. We might have to loosen it up, and I don't know how this is going to work out, but you'll get a general idea. And then what we do is we take a fall protector, and we'll insert this in one end, and then we shoot. I don't know, we might have to put a DVD maybe in there. I don't know if y'all can see this or not.
It's the site there. So, the light's visible through the ultras.
Yeah, but what should happen is that the light should be here in the center. And then what happens is that when you get them to go, the light, when you get them touching, the light will be minimum apart, and you'll get a pretty good light coming out.
I wonder what their decision was when they said, let's just make it this small. Or, what's the
Okay. Here. Of course, the smallest of the cables depends on how many conductors you can get inside a cable. Of course, it's like on copper. Copper, we're trying to send power through it. Fiber optics, we're not sending power, we're sending light. So what we try to do is make it as small as we possibly can so you can get more conductors in the cable. So what we're looking at now, if I can get it to focus in, dang, let me show y'all. So I tried to figure it out, show y'all this, and I screwed up. I'm sorry, guys. But don't pick it up when it's working. Okay. I'm gonna try and put them down. So I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but there's a little light right there. That's where that cable ends. And we're going to try to insert this one back in there, not breaking it. said, I might have to get one. It's not doing it. I don't know if I screwed my sleeve up or not. But what's going to happen is that when you get this in there, this light is going to just about extinguish. Now this is a semi-permanent splice. No, I'm sorry, this is a temporary splice, which means what? Yeah, we could take this out. And it's also supposedly reusable, which we've never done that before. And then what we'll do now is once we get in there, so when you put your connectors on, what you'll do is you'll measure the dB loss of the connectors. And then when we come up here and put our splice in, and we're going to record that and keep up with it, because when we put the splice on, then we'll say, okay, then we'll measure the dB loss of the cable. And then that'll tell us what the dB loss of the splice is, right? So I like this one because it's got the glass so you can actually see it. The cam lock, you push them in there until they butt up against each other. And they'll actually have a loop. I'm sorry, the fiber lock. Well, like we said, the fiber lock, this is a permanent splice. When you crimp that down on there, then you're set on this one. You would have to cut this guy here out. And this is also true with the one from Corning. Called cam splice. What we do on this one, and so this is made up for a 900 micron jacket too. So, and this is compression. So what you do is you push it in until it stops, and then you would screw this down. And you would put the other one in until it stops, and then a little special tool, what it does is it spins this center right here, and that's what locks the fiber together. And this is a permanent splice too. So once it locks, you can't back it off, right? That would be the three splices that we're going to have. Of course, the one y'all going to do is y'all going to do the ultra splice. So the light source is really cool. Let's see if it's getting through. So y'all okay?
Yes. I'm going to start working on my other one.
Yeah, you can, but we need to try to get through that today. We need to do this, and then what that'll leave us for Tuesday is we'll do the fusion splice. And then after that, we'll take the test first. We'll take the test first. Tuesday. Test 3. And then Thursday is going to be the final. So the last day for lab is Tuesday. Because I've got an appointment on Friday, and the grades are due Monday. That means, does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm good with you. So, my morning, bad today.